Okay, cool. Sorry about anyone who. Okay, cool. Sorry about anyone who. Okay. I have that in the background. Should be good now. Yeah, sorry about anyone who might be watching after the fact or any video after this. And I just had to get all my stuff set up and posting stuff out so that people knew I was live. Yeah, so this is my first stream, so like real stream. I've done a few test ones, but my first actual stream. I'm gonna be just kind of hanging out and working on some stuff. Probably post this into a video later. I have a bit of a project I'm working on right now to create a kind of like a FPS trainer. Not sure exactly what the full project aim is yet. I've just been told that they want a certain effect for the gun in it, so that's what I'm working on today. And I'll be kind of walking through how I'm doing it, and hopefully it'll be kind of interesting. So yeah, sorry if my stream is really laggy, or if my mic audio sucks. Hopefully I'll be getting a little bit better of a connection soon. I also may be switching over to YouTube instead of Twitch, but it doesn't really matter right now. But the mic, I'm getting a new one this weekend, so hopefully it'll be a little bit better quality. And if you hear a fan in the background, it's because it is way too hot in here to be not having a fan on. I try recording sometimes with it on, with it off, and it is just blazing hot. So I just kind of have to deal with having it on or dying of heat stroke. So yeah. Anyways, let's actually go over and I'm just gonna start. No one's here yet, but figure if anyone does show up, I'm just gonna keep working. And yeah. Okay, so I just have a basic thing set up here. This is what I've had so far, is just I was working on this before. I was actually planning on making a video out of it. Actually, I did not realize before that it's creating a laser thing. With the way I have it set up, it actually creates a new actor for the Niagara itself. I'll go over that. I'll go over that in a second, but I just want to quickly run through and add this in, just because it's going to bother me and I don't want to forget about it. Where's not that? It's in start. Set factor parameter. Delay. 2 seconds. That's fine. Destroy actor self. You should fix that. No, it won't. Too long. Too short. Hold on 1 second. Or not, just because it'll be invisible anyways, so it won't matter if it sticks around a little bit longer to make sure the full effect is there. Cool. Okay, so what I have here is it's probably, almost definitely, not the most efficient way to do this, but it's the way I did it, so I'm just going to walk through it and hopefully just walk through it just for now, and then I'll move on to what I'm actually going to be working on for the rest of the stream. So I'm going to start out by going to the rifle. So I have the basic rifle that you just in UE5 it just spawns there. You go and pick it up, and then it's set to do that. You may notice that the laser actually disconnects from the gun. I did that on purpose because otherwise I don't have the stuff set up anymore for it, but it would basically stay connected to the muzzle of the gun, and so when you like moved, instead of disconnecting and just like floating there, it would like not act like a laser. And so I figured like it almost feels more like a tracer type thing, where like it's shot and it creates a laser beam out of it, and then since it just stays in the air behind where it was, and also I think creates a pretty cool effect. It's pretty simple and just, you know, why not? You also notice that there's a muzzle flash on the end of the gun, which sticks to the end so that it actually, you know, looks kind of more interesting than just a laser. So I have that basic gun blueprint. Normally you have the projectile spawn logic, and that's where this fire projectile goes in. It connects in right here, usually over here, or somewhere around here. And then it goes through, spawns a ball, and shoots it out, and has an animation. Honestly, I could probably hook the animation again if I wanted to, and just put it on the end here, or whoever was going to be doing this onto. Once I finish, just put play animation, just play montage or whatever. So I don't know if it has the same effect, but I think it's pretty cool. Okay, so sorry. So we have the fire projectile. Then what we're going to do is, well, I guess I always when I did my first go through on this, I actually did the same thing and went into this one, but immediately goes to need to spawn an actor, so you need to create that first. So instead of starting in the gun, we're going to start in the Niagaras. If you don't know, Niagaras are like animations that can have that can interact in the world around them and are usually procedurally generated. So we're going to start. You're going to want to create a Niagara. You just go, if you want to create one, just go into FX. You go down and go to Niagara Emitter. You create it from there. And so I'm just going to walk through what I have here already, rather than create a whole new one, because they can be pretty finicky. So I find it's easier if you just have the entire thing. I find it's a lot easier for me to just have the entire thing and just walk through it, rather than try and like do it again in case it all of a sudden decides just not to work. So we're going to start with, when you first get it in there, we're actually going to start near the bottom, because this renderer, originally it's going to start with a sprite renderer, but you're going to want to delete that and add a ribbon renderer instead. That'll just get it so that it actually does a laser instead of particles. You can actually see what particles look like. Yeah, they're nothing now because it's done, but you can see where they're just those two little spots right there. So then what you need to do is, there's a little material thing up here, or when you click on it, a little material thing pops up. I want to open. It's normally going to be blank. You need to go hit settings, make sure you have all three of these checked. Simply because for some reason you need all three. I have no idea why. But once you have all three checked, then just search in this. Excuse me. Just search in this, the search ribbon material. It'll just come up. Bam, you got it there. Select it. And then you're good to go for the rivet. Shouldn't be anything else here. I'll just make it so it actually shows a laser and not anything else. Next up, we're going to go back to the top. And I believe emitter state should be on there automatically. If you just, oh yeah, I am such a scatterbrain. When you create a new new Niagara emitter, you're going to want to hit new emitter, next, and you're going to want to go with empty. Don't go with dynamic beam, directional burst, or anything, because there's going to be a lot of extra stuff in there, or different stuff. There's nothing really that has much, like there's nothing really that's super closely related as far as settings go. So usually empty is just better. So you just create an empty one, whatever. Just open it up, and you'll see it has this stuff. So you'll just need to go through and set and just add wherever in the section you see these parts, just add them. Or there are some times where once you add one, it will actually adjust. It will say fix issue, and up here, somewhere around up here, and you'll just click that, and it'll automatically add certain ones and adjust settings for you so that it actually works for some of them. So you want to go and get these. So you want to get the emitter state, which should automatically be in there. I believe these normally it's set to system. You want to switch to self. Then you want to go to inactive response, switch it to complete. I believe it should be on complete, but if it isn't, complete is what you want. For loop behavior, you want to set infinite. I think it should be default, and set loop duration to 0, so that it'll just basically run the actual thing. Next, you're going to want to, on emitter update, beam emitter setup, just add that in. I believe it will have a few things like say fix issue. Then just add it. Just hit fix issue. It should just add whatever it needs. Then what you're going to want to do is you want to go and click. I believe absolute beam start is going to be already hit. But you're going to also activate the absolute beam end, because that will actually allow you to control where the beam actually ends, rather than have it just fade off based on how much power is left in it, kind of thing. Next, you're going to want to switch it off of. Some might use spawn rate. This one you're going to want to use spawn burst instantaneous. Basically, it'll spawn everything at once rather than have it come in or fade out, or fade in or fade out. So you want spawn count to 2 and spawn time to 0. So it'll spawn instantly and will spawn 2. You can adjust how many you want spawning at once, but 2 I found works pretty well. Next, you want to go down to particle spawn, and you're going to want to activate spawn beam. There's no real things to change. Just leave the spline position, error, whatever, error tiling. Just leave that, just put it in, then you're good. I believe initialized particle will already be in there. Ugh. And you want to just set the lifetime. I just set it to this 0.15. Just I don't know if it actually makes much of a difference, but that's why I had mine set to, so maybe that's what you want. Then that should be it for that one. Go down to beam width. I found if you're using a default gun, about 8.8 is about perfect to get the actual gun to look like it's in the gun. Sorry. That's pretty much perfect to make it look like the beam's coming out of the gun itself and not just kind of embedded in it, or rather it's coming out of the muzzle, not just phasing through it. Beam twist mount, you don't really need that right now. So then you're going to want, oh wait. Okay, so I'm going to jump over instead to the, so basically some of these settings I changed in the actual system itself. Essentially the Niagara is the source, and the emitter itself. I took and added it to the system, and then I changed some settings around in the system, not in the actual not in the original one. So I'm actually going to jump back over to that instead of just using this one. So sorry if that seems a bit confusing. So I believe this all should be the same. I think the only that I'll cover why that's different a little bit. This is all the same. Spawn beam. This one, initialized particle. I guess I have lifetime actually for the initialized particle. I have it set to this instead, so we'll start. And so basically, you can use all the things I said for this up until initialized particle. Then stuff starts to change because I forgot that I had actually edited this one, not the actual emitter, the Niagara itself. I used the system. So I have the initialized particle. I set the lifetime instead of whatever it was, like 0.15 or whatever, to 1.3. So it actually fade out and not just disappear. Beam width, actually it's at 10.78. That's what I have it at. It should be pretty much perfectly sized for default, but if you want to add your own gun, of course, you can change that. Which actually I am going to be creating my own laser-based, line trace-based gun, including with its own model and everything, because apparently I originally made this project for the project I'm working with right now, but I wasn't aware that they actually needed me to actually create the whole gun system itself, including like the like using the gun model they made or whatever. So I'm going to be doing that in this stream too, but this is what the default if you're going to use it. For particle state, this was where you change it quite a bit. You don't want it to kill particles when life time has elapsed. So like once their lifetime's over, they just disappear. Instead, you want to set it to infinite, or you want it set to let infinitely the particles die when emitter deactivates, which just means that they basically will they'll keep existing. They don't have a set lifetime until the emitter is deactivated, and then they'll actually disappear. Color doesn't really matter. I couldn't get it to work even with a parameter, which I'll be showing you in a second, but it doesn't really matter because I couldn't get it to work. Maybe you'll be able to get it to work. It worked for me for a little bit and then it just stopped, so maybe, I don't know. Maybe just add it to your own and see if it'll work. We have an update beam, which is just to make sure that the actual laser, you can't even edit it, just edits it. It's just a thing to make sure that the beam will actually keep updating. And this is where we actually get change the way the laser disappears. Instead of just blinking out of existence once the time ends, it'll actually disappear as long as you set the scale alpha in scale color. You want to set it to a float from curve, just right there. Set it to a float from curve, and then set 1 at 0, and then however long you want it to take to disappear from at 0. So like after 0.2 seconds, it goes at 0, turns invisible. So the alpha channel does. Yeah, so that should be it. Oh wait, sorry, I have one more thing. So now you have this, which is the parameters. What you want to do is you'll want to create. I have 3, but I don't know why I have laser rotation. Really just need laser end and color. And color didn't work for me, like I said before. So I just am using laser end, like actually using it. So laser end, you just want to make new, and just want to search vector, and just create a vector out of it. And then just name it whatever, or the actual endpoint of the laser. I call it laser end because it makes sense. So I just created laser end. And then what you're going to do is, once you have that parameter up here, you're going to want to go down to beam emitter setup. So you want to go to beam emitter setup, and you can see here beam end. I actually have it set there, which you can just do by searching in here, whatever you called it. So the laser end. Ta-da! Now what will happen is the beam end will actually take and follow the parameter, take the information from the vector and put the end of the laser there. That's important because now that we actually have finished looking at this, this is the actual just animation that plays. Now we can go to the actual blueprint that's gonna be spawned when you create what's it called? When the gun shoots, it's gonna spawn this blueprint, which is I call laser start, which is just a actor blueprint, just blueprint class, actor. That's it. It's pretty simple. So I just have one of those, and all it is you're going to want to take, and now I have to, there's a lot of moving around in this, so sorry if it can get confusing, but hopefully, I mean obviously the stream is very confusing, just the VOD, but hopefully once I've edited it a little bit, if this is in the video, it'll be edited a little bit to be a little less confusing, hopefully. So we have this custom game instance, and the reason where we're getting this from is what we're doing is creating a custom game instance in this, which is just you just get to it by going to blueprint class and searching game instance right here, and bam, you just create a game instance off that. Once you have created, you just go to project settings and search game instance, and then just change it to your custom one. Once you have that done, then you can actually reference it, and the game instance kind of works like a storage system. So if you put and usually people use it across like to keep points across levels, which is honestly probably the better way to use it. I use it actually for casting because it's while you can cast to certain things, sometimes it's just easier, and I'm lazy, so I'll just use a custom game instance and then cast to that rather than the actual thing itself. So I'll just create it. So what I did is I just created a vector here called laser end, same as what the parameter was. This isn't the parameter. This is just creating a variable vector called laser end. I just named them the same thing because it was easy for me to think of. So now what you want is, we're going to go back to this. Or jump around. Ignore this part right here because this is not super important. What does matter is I have for the default gun, you're going to want to make sure to have it so that if the player's picking up or whatever, for some reason the default gun is actually rotated 90 degrees. So in order to counter that, so that the laser actually travels straight out of it and the line trace travels straight out of it rather than off to the side, I just took and put a sphere in front of it. You can't even see it. Just floating in the air above it, in front of it. And just took that, and you can see right here, it says 9 degrees, because I rotated it 9 degrees, and it's pretty simple. So you just want to get the location of that sphere, or if you do your own custom model, you may not run into this problem. If you do, then just do this, because if you're using the socket that the player character has, then you're going to want to have to do that. You're going to want to do this. So we have we're going to take this sphere or whatever, the gun itself, if you don't need to use a sphere, or if there's some way to change that so it's not rotating 90 degrees. I don't know it, so I just did this and it worked really well, so I was like, whatever, it works. So, take sphere, you want to get the world location of the sphere, and this is just the spawning the blueprint for the laser itself, and basically it's just running through getting the root component, getting the world location. So basically you're getting the world location of the sphere, spawning something there where it is, and then taking the start of it, taking that world location. So really just taking, you basically could just skip this if you didn't care that they were connected. Like if you didn't care the laser was connected to the actual gun, and then you added the Niagara later. But since I do care, it goes through this, but all you're doing is just getting the location of this sphere. Then, like any standard line trace, you just take and have it go through a forward vector, multiply it by a distance. I just have it turned up to, whatever, I don't know what that actually is. It's a lot. It doesn't matter because it's a laser, so it doesn't really have a maximum range. So it goes out, goes into multiply. You add that sum. I don't know what the actual thing is. You add that and you add that amount to the world location again of the sphere, and then that goes up into the end. So it draws a line trace out to tell it, basically draw a line out. You're going to want to get the first person character reference, which you can just literally just type in first, or rather you can drag out from here and type in first person, and you can't. Okay, so then you just type out first, or sorry, you're going to want to take and make an array from here, just you can make array, and then just type out first person character reference from here. See, bam, right there. And then you just get that. That will just make it so that the laser or anything doesn't actually impact, like doesn't get affected by the player itself. If you want to test it, you just do the draw debug type for the line. It'll just make a little line out and change the color and everything. Standard line trace gun mechanics. So this is where it gets different than the standard, is this thing right here. It's the select. This is basically, this acts like a branch node, but instead of it having, instead it's using variables, or instead of using a like paths and then splitting off into two like this does, it instead takes two variables, and then whichever one is true, if it's, so this right here, when you create a line trace for a channel, let me show you. There's an out hit marker. All you have to do is just click split structure bin, bam, right there. And then, so you get that, and you want to take the out hit blocking hit. When you have a select, bring it down to the index, so it will tell if it's hitting something. That's what blocking hit means, just is it hitting something. If it is true, you want to take the location that it hits and just run that out there. If it's false, you want to take over here the actual forward vector that you use to draw the line trace and bring it up to false, so that it'll actually draw a line out. And this is where you actually get the game instance. Finally, we're back to it. So the game instance, you want to just cast to it, get the game instance for the object, just get game instance, and then set the laser end in the game instance, the effector right here, so that you can use this to in the other blueprint. I'm just going to continue on from where, or actually, never mind. So I'm just going to go back to the other blueprint now. There's more in this, but this is another whole thing. So I'm just going to keep going with this. So going back here, this is where you take and you have the Niagara system. You just put it in here. Just when you create the thing, just add a Niagara system. Go and set the go and set your Niagara system so it works in there, or so it's placed in there. Then you just off event tick so that it will always activate like immediately. You want to cast a custom game instance, get game instance, and get the laser end and put it at the end of this. So give me a second. You take a drink of water. My throat's dry. So you want to take and get the default scene route of the actual laser itself, which is actually, that is where you get this, where it spawned. So basically you're getting the location of the sphere because it's spawning it right on top of the sphere. So you want to get the location of that and set that as the start. And then this is where you set the end. So basically you're just getting that. Then you're going to want to take and make an array, get player character, and ignore the actor. So it does that. This I'm actually not 100% sure is completely necessary, but I have it in there and I don't want to break it. So you may not need this second line trace, but I have it in there just in case. Then you just cast again, get the laser end, and set the parameter. Actually, you know what? Why not do this right now? I'm just going to take this, Alt, take this off, and what happens if I just bypass it? Will it still work? It may not, so let's just try it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure, but, you know, might as well try it. Okay. So if you actually go back in here, this is all not necessary. So basically, instead, what you're going to want to do is, here, let me just get rid of all that. Instead, what you're going to want to do, so you're back in the laser start, obviously. You're going to want to go from event tick, so it always will activate, straight into a cast to the game instance, get the laser end. Then this is where it can get a little bit picky because sometimes it just doesn't want to work. You're going to want to add a parameter, a vector parameter, off of the game instance. This is going to set the parameter of laser end. So you're going to want to connect your Niagara to it, and then connect your laser end to it. The parameter name is extremely important because if this is not exactly the same, and sometimes even if it is, it will not work. So I just kind of messed around with it until eventually it worked and stopped touching it. But if it doesn't work for you, I don't really know why it sometimes chooses not to work. It can just be picky, but hopefully it will work for you, and just make sure it's exactly the same, capitals and everything. It's case sensitive. Then I have it going through a delay of 1 second and a destroy actor, so that it will actually send it through and then destroy itself. So that's not, which I just added at the beginning of the stream, as you saw. Now we are going back to the rifle, because as you saw, there's actually quite a bit more on the end here after you've set this. The reason for that is the muzzle flash. The muzzle flash I did by another bag, not Viagra, Niagara, by taking and having I called it laser surround because I was going for something different at first, but then I decided to change it. So that's the original. I'm going to go to the system itself because I changed some stuff around again, and it makes more sense. So let me go to, I called this one gun flare because this is when I actually realized what it'd be better for. And you can see it right here. It's just a little bit of a weird effect thing. Kind of looks like a hand-drawn type thing. I always found it really cool, and I've actually been using this in projects for a little bit, but I figured this would actually work really well for it. So we're going to go to beam emitter setup, and similar to the other one, you just want to have it be, well, I guess you can start in emitter state once you've created a new Niagara and created a system. You're going to want to do ribbon render. I have a sprite render in there. Doesn't really matter. I can actually just delete that. Nope, didn't want to do that. I want to delete that. Nope, why is it not letting me? Oh, it's not letting me because it's in the actual base one. Since that lock's there, you can't actually delete it, but you don't need it. What you do need, however, is ribbon renderer. Just go through the same thing you did, search in there, make sure the certain things are checked, and search for the ribbon material. Then you're going to want to go back to the top. We'll start with emitter state instead. You want the life cycle mode to set to self. Set it to complete, same as the other one. This is where it slightly differs. Instead of infinite, you want it as once. And the loop duration mode fixed, and set the loop duration however long you want it. This will cause it to do this and kind of pop in and out. Then you can get a beam emitter setup, same as the other one, just have absolute beam start, absolute beam end. You don't need the parameter for this one. This is just because since you're not actually trying to mark the end, create a laser from one end to the other, you just kind of create a little effect here. You just need it like this. This one you need, I have both a spawn rate and a spawn burst instantaneous. You can really have one or the other. You can actually see the slight change. This one's a gradual effect and less like punchy. And then if I get rid of this one, you see it's more punchy, but it's less gradual. And I like the combination where it kind of pops in really quickly and then fades out a little bit slower. That's just my personal preference. You can change it however you want. This is where we get into the actual customizable part of it. Or after spawn beam, same as the other one, you just need that just to get it to work. You get initialized particle, lifetime or whatever. Actually, it's down here that you get stuff. But initialized particle should be you probably want it the same as the other one. You may want it different. I have no idea. Beam width doesn't really matter. These don't matter as much since you're not going to actually be having it in the gun, but you can just turn these up or turn these down as much as you want, just to make whatever effect you're going for, whether it's a thinner beam. We'll just try and load. See, this has a lot bigger of a line now, which could be an effect you're going for, or it could be going for a lot smaller of a beam. Hopefully it doesn't go negative so I can actually show you it, rather than, I probably should have just typed it in instead of trying to slide it, because that does put it through a lot more of a, or it takes a little bit more power to do that. But you can see here, it's a lot thinner. I just had it at 3, or around 3, so I'll just set it back to there. And beam twist, you can just adjust that however you want, just to wherever you like. That'll just change kind of like how because it's 2D effect, it'll change how much it twists. You can just adjust that to wherever you want. These two, you don't need add velocity and shape location. You only want this if you want the, so you only want this if you want a different type of thing. Basically, this is at spawn versus particle update. Particle update will continually try and affect it. This will just happen at first. You don't need to add velocity at all. This one you may want. You can see here, if I turn it on, nothing happens at first. That's because I have shape location also on in a sphere on particle update, which means it's forcing it to be in that shape like actively. But if I turn that off, you can see it actually like expands out and creates this cool little effect, which may be what you want. I personally thought that the other one was a little bit cooler for just the like sciencey kind of electrical effect. So we have the we're going back up to the top here. I'm gonna turn off the particle spawn shape location, which you may or may not want. You want to go to particle update and particle state. You want to set the same thing. Let infinitely lived particles die when emitter deactivates. Long name just means that when emitter turns off, these die. Otherwise, they'll live. That sounds way darker than it really is, just the particles. Then we have the update beam. You do not want this because if you do that, it actually will. Oh, so it's 4.2. Or no, so before, but I thought before that it would ruin it because at one point it did make it actually try and act like the other laser, but it didn't. So it doesn't really matter. You just don't need it. This is where you get the actual like cool like randomness of it. Is the Vortex Velocity. You just add it into update. Make sure to add it into update, not spawn, because then it'll keep. Oh hey, yeah, yeah, this is me. Yeah, COD. Yeah, I'm just doing a little thing for Cronin to create a little gun thing. You can see here I have this little effect thing going. So I'm just kind of doing a little tutorial on how to do it. I'm going to be putting it on my YouTube channel after. So, who is this, by the way? If you're comfortable saying. So anyway, where I was before, I'm gonna go to the Vortex Velocity, and you can just kind of turn that up a bunch. In the Vortex Velocity, you can turn it up a bunch, and just get whatever effect you're going for. And the axis I set so that it's more of a like sideways. By setting this up, you can cause it to spin sideways, which you can see more if you turn this on and this off. You can see how it spins like that, which you can affect with this. If I just set that to 0, you can see it kind of just spins in place. So yeah. Oh hey Murray. I didn't know if anyone was on the Discord right now, but so yeah, cool. So that's basically the Vortex Velocity. Then we're going to move on to the Solid Porcelain Velocity, which I believe the Vortex Velocity will add once you create it. It'll actually take and add it straight in. So once you fix issues, then you're going to want to take, so that won't really matter too much. It'll already do it by itself. You don't need to edit anything in it. You're going to want to go to shape location, or you want to add the shape location update, the particle update, to get the actual effect of it being in a ball, or any other shape you want really. You can choose a bunch of these, whichever you like. And just set that. I set this radius because this one fit the gun the best, the default gun the best. None of these other things really make a difference. Then color, same as the other one. For some reason my color didn't want to change it, but the one that really matters if you want to fade out is the same thing. Scale alpha, get a float from curve off this, and you got to disappear slowly. Now that you have the system in place to actually build off of, you can take and go back into your rifle blueprint and get a activate. If you take and you can see in my viewport, I have the actual effect right here. So I added in, put it in there. I called it Bullet 1 because originally it was the laser. Just haven't changed the name. It's just the Muzzle Flash. You just have it go in, go through activate the actual thing, set a delay of whatever you want. I have 0.2 seconds, and then deactivate. So it'll fade away and disappear. Then I have a print string just to tell me that it's when it's firing. Don't really need it anymore because I know it's firing. And then I have the montage to have the animation, which you can add or remove however you want, just whatever your preference is. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the default gun. Now I'm actually going to go in and I'm going to start actually developing the uh, gun that's actually in the gun that I got for the new model. And when he actually did it, apparently when they created the level, they actually took and created a entirely blank map, like entirely blank. No, not even a character mod, not even a first-person character starter. So there's pretty much nothing here, and I just have the base model. But pretty much, this is what he said I need to try build off of, is just the getting the player model here and figuring out how to give him a completely remade gun, because he also deleted the default gun. So that's what I'm going to be working on right now, is just building the actual gun itself, which shouldn't be insanely difficult. It's mostly just going to be a thing of trying and double checking to make sure it all works. So we're just going to go in and get a actor, I believe. Should work. Let's call this the custom gun. Yeah, space in there. Cool. Got the custom gun in there. Just going to want to add a... I'm actually going to use the blueprint system. Get rid of all these. Yes. Custom game instance. I'm going to use this as a actual thing. Oh, it is a skeletal mesh. Okay. That changes things. Because I believe he didn't give me a skeletal model. So I'll need to take and... Let me try... I don't think... If he's going to do an animation of it, he'll need to redo the motion stuff, but he doesn't. If he doesn't want to do an animation and just have it where it just shoots a laser out, then it'll be a lot easier, and I'll just do it from there. So we're going to start with getting a static mesh and just taking, and I'm going to find the... I don't actually think I got imported the model to this yet, so I'm just going to do that. I'm actually going to switch off that just in case it shows any files when I import. Didn't think of the fact that it may do that, so just give me a second. I believe it's in downloads. Or no, it was in here. Okay. And of course, he apparently did this in like 5 minutes because the normals are all fucked up. So I have to go into Blender and go fix that. Give me a second. Actually, I just should be pretty quick. Just gonna open Blender up and get the actual model again and just reverse all the faces. And gonna open this up. So, I don't. Okay. Yeah. You can even see he just called cube. So, I'm just gonna go in here and let's see what this looks like. Yep, all red. Okay, tab, Control A, Control A. No, Control A, just A, I guess. We're just gonna go in and you have all the faces selected. Just go and I believe it's mesh, normals, and flip them, and now they're all blue. So what was happening before, in case anyone is wondering, the basically the faces, like the polygons, were all inverted so that it allows you to basically see through it. So when you see a model, you're basically seeing one side of the polygons. One side is visible, one side is not. normally the one that is visible is on the outside, and the one that is invisible is on the inside. However, he had that inverted, which means I just need to go in here and flip it. So now it should be all good. You see it's all blue. And just turn off face orientation and export as FBX. Just make sure. Just realized I'm actually exporting. I should probably not have all my files open, or files on display for people. See? You know, privacy stuff. And need to flip this to face. Sorry, I'm not kind of showing you what's happening. I just don't want to display anything that, like any of my personal stuff. So just export that and save this file. And it should be good to go. Okay, so now we just gotta go in here and take this, and it should re-import it, and bam. Now it's all fixed. Now if I actually go in here and choose the gun V1, oh, that is, excuse me, that is ginormous. I'm just gonna shrink that down so it's hopefully more handheld. I'll actually just test that and see if it's how big it is in comparison to the player character. That should be about right. Okay, perfect. So now we have the basis for our gun. The actual things for this are actually pretty simple. You just have a on-fire projectile, which is tied to the thing. Base. What actually is it tied? You see, normally what you have is a thing where, or a, oh, okay. Okay, yeah, so it is here. So it just, well, this is the actual pickup, so that it'll cause the, when the person overlaps it, which I believe I can actually just take this and copy it over. There shouldn't be anything. I think the only thing is, no, I don't think there's anything that is Blueport specific. So, or I say I'm going to copy it over. I'm going to walk through how to get it over there. I'm going to copy it over as in I'm going to walk through what each piece is. So, on begin overlap, you can see there's a sphere collision in this right here. This is just to allow you to actually pick up the gun. I don't actually know. I don't know exactly how to tie it exactly into the person, like immediately, so it spawns, because they changed that, and I don't really understand how to fix that. But we can just do that in our gun too by just adding the same exact thing to ours. We just get a, where is it? Here. We can just add that right there, and bam. Now when you just walk into it or anything, well, not now, but so that if I take this, same idea, just go here, go all the way to the bottom, there is on component begin overlap. And bam. It'll just, it'll detect when something overlaps it. Perfect. Now we move on to the cast, this step. Yeah, you see this? Casts to the thing itself, so we're just going to do the same thing. In fact, I'm just going to copy and paste it because it's way easier. You can read it. It's the cast to first person character. You can just type that into your thing. Just off here, just apparently won't let me. Okay, so just cast to first person. And something that it took me a while to figure out is that you can actually abbreviate stuff like that, where if you're doing casting, just cast and then put something that is specific to what you're looking for, like character, and then it'll come up with cast character, cast all this stuff. So if you want first person, you can see here, bam, right there. I'll just cast that blueprint. The object, you want other actor, I believe. Yeah, so basically it's looking for when the character, the player character walks into this, it picks it up. Then you want to do here, it's a set. The this one, I'm not going to add this in because this should just work, hopefully, because if it doesn't cast, then you'll know because it won't work at all. So we just have this, go here, you want to set the first person character reference. Where's it getting this? Oh, it's in the actual variable. I forgot. So this is the actual variable you have to add, which is the, we'll just call this FP character ref. So bam, you just have a first person character just ready to go once you set. And then just have to search in here, same thing. First person character should work here. Object reference, I believe, is what it is. You just want to set it and set that. So now it'll actually use this as the reference, I believe, for all of this. So now you want to attach actor to component, and you can see all this. This is where you get the actual like sockets and stuff, which I wasn't sure if it would work. Hopefully it does. We'll see in a second. So we just want to use this, attach actor to component. So we just got there, attach actor to component right there. You want the socket name to grip point. I'm just going to copy and paste that so I make sure I have it exactly the same. Right there. And for target, we need self, so that should work itself. You don't need any actual thing there. I think they have this self here so that it makes sure you connect the right ones. But now we should be able to do first person character reference target as the first person mesh as the parent, which I believe if you just add this in, you should be able to, oh, okay, then you gotta go off here, then first, so mesh, there we go, just gotta search that, first person mesh in the, whatever it's called, get that, and location, you want to snap the target, I believe is what it had, that will make it so that it actually pops in right where it needs to be, and weld simulated bodies, so that'll connect the two. Right here, weld simulated bodies, make sure that's true. It should be for default. Next, for the final step, you're going to want to take and bind the actual event so that it will actually use the item instead of just like trying to communicate to nothing. So we want to character reference. Okay. Cool. So we're going to want to get the first person character reference first, and then I believe from here, get the bind event. Bind event on use item. I believe that is what it is, isn't it? Yep, perfect. So we have bind event. What that does is if you go to the actual player character, first person, blueprints, let's get the first person character. Just honestly, this looks like there's a bit here. They dumbed it down in UE5. In UE4, it was, or Unreal Engine 4, it was a lot more stuff that was honestly super confusing. Now it's a lot more simple, movement input, all that stuff. But what we want is right here is actually to tell it when to do stuff. So it takes or not what we want, but to explain what it's doing, we just have the input action, primary action, which is a project default. So you can change that, like if you don't want it to just be a like right click or whatever, you can change to any button you want. If you wanted for some reason your primary action to be something other than right click by default, then you change it here. You already change it in the settings, but the primary action, when it's pressed, it calls the on use item, which basically means it activates whatever event we bind to this, which we're going to create an event off of this. And they used on fire projectile, which I don't know if I believe they took, I'm not actually sure why they did it like this, because you should be able to do the same thing simpler without creating an event. Instead, just do custom event and just call this one fire, and should be able to connect it right there. And then if I just do a print string, test it out. So let's call this one, I don't know, laser beam. Cool. Let's compile that, and let's see if it actually worked. I deleted the model. Yeah, I got rid of the actual thing. So, this is where we test if this worked or not. We should be able to take and see it there, walk up to it, and it works. You can see that something is wrong here. Oh, and okay. So, there's a few things that happen there. Just fly back up to the thing so that you can see. A few things happen there. First, the reason why I walked off the edge is because this actually has a, this actually has a, what's it called? A collision on it still, which means that when you try and walk around while holding it, you're basically running into a thing you're holding, which causes quite a bit of glitching, and you end up just walking in a weird angle. I think it's like a certain angle backwards, I found, and it's really confusing. It's confusing enough on like the regular map where you actually have like stuff to base it off of, but with this just plain white plane, you don't really have much to work off of as far as like, you know, motion recognition goes. So you just kind of feel like you're walking at nothing. But now I turned off the collisions. I believe I should be able to actually walk around. It's hard to tell. Yet you can see I'm able to control my actual movements since there's no actual collision on the gun now, which I just changed. If you didn't see it, I was talking during it and didn't really point out. I just went to the custom gun blueprint, went to the static mesh, scrolled down like a little bit. You can see collision, just set collision presets to no collision. You don't really need a collision unless you're planning on having the gun be able to like hit a wall or something for some reason. But you may also have noticed that the actual gun is a 90 degree angle, which I pointed out earlier when I was showing you how to use this, how to modify the default gun, where I had had an extra sphere right ahead of it, which you can see right here. I rotated 90 degrees to be able to fire a laser out and do a line trace straight out rather than at 90 degrees, because that's what the socket's at. So we have this, since we have this here, we have to do the same thing to our gun. Not that gun, right here. We just take this, and I believe we should be able to rotate it 90 degrees. And if that is correct, no. So it's rotating at 90 degrees, but instead of positive, just set that to negative 90. Or 270, whichever one you prefer. I personally prefer negative 90, because 270 can cause it to spin the other way around rather than just like that way. It would spin all the way around like that if you were animating, so I just use negatives. And there we go. Now you're holding it in a really weird way, but it is facing the right direction at least. And you could probably adjust it in the first-person character. You can get the sockets, which I'm not 100% sure in UE5 how to access. But so we have the custom gun now, and we can actually probably fix it by just moving it slightly. See if that works. Just try and make it look a little bit nicer. There we go. Now it at least looks kind of like you're holding it. So now you have this little nice thing, and it automatically will lock into your animation and everything. So like walking and stuff, it'll already do it by itself, which is pretty nice. So we have that. That's all set up. It does lock in. Now we're actually moving on to getting it to actually fire, which is pretty much similar to, or actually wait a second, I completely forgot to test the firing. I think I did kind of test it, but I never actually saw. Yep, if you look in the top right up here, you might have seen that the little blue text says laser beam. That means that it is firing, which means that we're connected, which means that anything we do in the right after this, just to be able to actually use it, will actually work. So we're going to go in and start working on the actual stuff for this. And looking at it now, it is insanely messy, but it works. So we're going to take and get the spawn actor. Since I already have it set up, I'm going to give me a second, guys. I actually just my sister is trying to text me, and I've been ignoring her. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. My sister just got back from or she's coming back for the weekend from college, so she was like frantically texting me, wondering why I'm not replying. So yeah. Anyways, getting back into where I was, we're gonna take and luckily, I already went over all the stuff to build this, or at least to build the parts of this, like things like the actual Niagaras and stuff. I'm gonna be having for anyone who wasn't in the stream yet or missed all that, I am going to be uploading this the entire VOD and an abbreviated edited version to YouTube on my YouTube channel. I should probably actually put that in my description, but I'll have that in my stuff, so you can find that and actually get the. Here, actually, wait 1 second. I'll add it right now. Put it in the chat for anyone who wants to go and see that. I have another video from a little while back, just kind of a post about one of my other projects, just a basic UE5 tutorial. But I'll be putting this up in a little bit after I finish streaming, probably tomorrow. I'll have an edited version of this, the full process that's a little more cohesive and hopefully easier to understand than, you know, this mess of a stream. But we're going to take and do the same idea. We won't need the sphere, hopefully. We can just use the actual location of the gun itself, but we'll do the same idea. In fact, I'm just going to save time and copy and paste this over. Like I said, if you need like some way to follow this, just go ahead and subscribe, and you'll subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on notifications, and when I get that video up, you'll be able to get a more cohesive tutorial on all that. So I'm just going to take all this and actually wait 1 second. I need this right here, which is a Niagara system over there, just to make sure that I can put the activation stuff for the other one. So I gotta go up here and just add a Niagara system. Honestly, I'm kind of glad that I did all this beforehand, because the stream is already kind of janky, and I definitely would not want to have to try and do all of this for the first time in there. So I just took and added that in and changed the thing. Now I should be able to copy that over, and I'll just move this out of the way so I don't get that, because I don't have the animation for it in my custom one, and take all of this. Copy it, and let's see if this works. No idea if it will. Paste it there, because there are probably some things that are broken. Get the one location. I think that all should actually work. Okay, so I just need the static mesh of this. Bam. Bam. I need the distance variable, which is just called the same thing. Distance. Bam. I don't want to be that. I want it to be a float. Change variable type. That'll automatically update it in the new one. Close that. Compile it again. Got that one. Okay, this problem is what? Oh, I need, because this has, the reason why I could use the first person character reference is because I actually set the first person character reference here. But I believe I should have that already, or did I not? No, I did do that. Okay, so it's just because I have it named differently or something. That's fine. Just gotta get it again. First person character reference. I believe that should work. Don't see any other problems. Oh, yep, because this is named differently. I need to just get rid of these and just add these in. And I believe that should work. Like I said, I have I did a lot of this before in the stream, early in the stream, so hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to understand once I have the entire video up and edited. But if I am correct, I can't see it. Seems to not be working. The question is why? What is the problem? Laser start is spawning because you can see over here when I hit play and I pick it up and I press it, you can see a thing spawning in the right. You can see the laser starts all spawning. I can just try and spawn a bunch of them and they slowly delete themselves, but they are spawning. The question is, why are they not visible? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the laser start and just place it down in the world and see. Okay, so should be visible. Oh, wait. It looks like it is visible. It's aiming to that point right there, which is normal because it's actually going to be set to 0, 0, which is the world start, or world spawn, or world origin, which is right over there. But once I fire the gun, it should do that. So, the question is, let me go to the blueprint. If I go to viewport, oh, that would explain it. If I go here and move this forward, now it'll be actually in front of the gun. At least this part will. And I bet you the reason why the laser is not firing is because it's hitting the gun itself, which is a problem. Should be able to fix it though. You see, with the other one, I believe the fact that the ball was actually out in front is what caused it to not actually hit itself. So I should be able to do the same thing with this. Just add another. What is it actually? Okay, I should be able to just do it here. Same thing. Just get a sphere, viewport. That should be a little bit smaller. Just a little bit. Just shrink that all the way down. Doesn't need to be visible. Just put it right there. Now it's right in the center. Right in the center of the gun. Should go pew pew right out of there. Pile. Alright, actually I need to take this. And instead of that, the reward location, we want to take this sphere. Bam and bam. Compile. Play. Okay, that's at least working. Let me go to this and actually switch this collisions to no collision, and then actually rotate this 90. because the gun itself, or the entire thing, or this is being rotated 90, so I don't know. We'll see. Okay, nope. So this needs to be back to where it was. That wasn't the problem. See, this is why I love Niagaras, because they're so like versatile, and you can kind of like it's a lot cheaper of a system, so you don't require like a bunch of resources to be able to run it, and it can be pretty. It can like be a pretty like you can customize it a lot, and you can create some really cool effects. But they're very picky, and sometimes you just kind of have to mess about, run, just move stuff around until eventually it decides it wants to go. I believe I should be able to fix this by simply taking and adding another thing here. And if I take this sphere, will that allow? No, it needs an actual full actor, which means it should be able to take self. Let me see, get reference to self. So it ignores itself and shoots a laser out. And see if that's the problem. It is not. And I believe, let me try this. Okay, so you can see it's forming if I click really fast while I'm walking sideways or forwards or backwards. I can't really see it backwards. It is forming. Why it is not shooting out, I am not sure. Let me do a trace and actually see if I can get a persistent compile. Let's see what this looks like. It is not even visible. Should be visible, shouldn't it? Why is it? Because even the trace color, it should, when it goes through, it should change color but still be visible. So why is it not? Switch to visit. I don't think that should change it, but you never know. It may make a difference. So let's see if we can get this to work. Nope. Okay. So there's something wrong with the trace, must be, I'd assume. There's no errors coming out, which means if there's an issue with it, no, trace I believe. Just finish that all, make sure it's. So, let me just take and do this and just add another one. Sometimes Unreal likes to do that, where it will take and for some reason stop stuff from working, and you end up having to just put in exactly what was there before. No idea why, but it just likes to do that. So take that, and then for this, I'm going to split this, get the out blocking, put that to index so that it'll actually test and see if it's hitting something, get the location if it does hit something, and if it doesn't, it'll draw a line out from here. Should. Oh, never mind my stupidity. I added a distance float, but it's set to 0, which would mean that the length of this line would be nothing. Let's try this again. Okay, that's a much more easier to fix issue. You can see it's actually shooting just in one direction, and much like the band, no one really wants that. I'm just kidding, in case anyone is actually a One Direction fan still. For some reason. So, why would it be doing that? There's a couple of reasons. The laser end is not being set correctly, which is possible. So, we would need to go in and make sure that this is the correct thing. Getting cast right there. Actually, let me test something quickly and see if the hit. No, okay. So it's just not going out correctly. I fixed this before, but just have to go through my thought process again to make sure I can figure it out. So it's getting a line trace. The line trace should be working. Let me just actually test that. Because if the line trace is not working, then that would explain it. Okay, so actually, the problem we were having, which I said we would have before, is happening, which is this little sphere I added to spawn the stuff from is actually being rotated 90 degrees, which just means, or negative 90 degrees by the socket, which just means you need to switch that around, make it rotate 90 degrees, and I believe we have a straight line now out from the gun. It's not exactly in the middle of the screen because, as you can see, the gun, like the way the socket works, it actually angles it slightly, which is a kind of a problem as far as like if you have like a what's it called, a like crosshair in the middle. But you can also just change that by simply taking the model of this and rotating it slightly. Not that much. You want to change the angle rotation, change it to a very small number so you can get more accurate. I believe you want it rotated to the left just slightly. Let's see if that's more to the center of the screen. Or it needs to be a little bit more. And actually, I don't know why I'm worried about the trace, because the trace is actually going to have to be changed by a slightly different method. That's a little more in the center of the screen, or pointed towards the center of the screen, but as you can see, it's still releasing from somewhere completely different. It's because of the fact that we have, or the reason for that is we have this sphere, which just needs to be scooched over and placed back in the center of the thing, which is not wanting to do, which I just had to snap to 1, get more accurate, and camera speed down lower. And it's pretty much centered. Good enough. And just rotate that so it's the same amount, hopefully, as the thing itself, which you can see just by doing this kind of thing. That should work. Now let's see if the gun shoots straight. There we go. That's pretty close to the center of the screen, which makes it a little bit easier for an FPS to be able to shoot. But now we still have the problem of that laser shooting down over to the side, which we're going to fix by just, or I say we're going to fix by just doing it. There's quite a few things that could be causing that, so I'm just going to run through and try and figure out exactly what the problem is. So, oh yeah, I just realized that my model may be in front of some of the stuff over here. That's very stupid of me. Well, hopefully it's not super in the way, and hopefully anything that was down there I can fix in an edit, or at least, like, show what might be behind there instead. So, let's see. Laser is not tracking. We do have the thing tracking out though, and we can actually just quickly test and see if the hit tracking is working. Yep. Okay. So, the laser's shooting out, and we are actually getting a data point from it, like showing where it should be hitting, which means that the problem is in the vectors themselves, or in some kind of targeting itself. So what we're going to do is just kind of run through all the different reasons why that might not be working. We know that they are activating, so it's not a problem in the actual activation. Was that connected before? Okay, so I disconnected. I am very scatterbrained today, or not just. It's more the fact that it's first stream, so I am very much not paying as close attention as I normally would be, and honestly, that probably would slip by me anyways. Just give me a second. I need to take a drink of water. But now it's working. So yeah, it's pretty much just how. Just got to make sure that the thing is all working. The thing is connected. That is a vital part of the system, is actually making sure things are connected. Otherwise, you'll just end up having nothing happen. So, I think that is this project, or at least for right now, this little piece done. It's actually not that late right now. And this didn't take as long as I expected. Then again, I kind of planned to just build everything from scratch, and then I realized that that's stupid because I already have the stuff, and it's easier just to kind of and with how finicky stuff is, it's easier just to have the stuff there, stuff already there, and just kind of try and explain it, like all the different parts of it and what settings I used. So, yeah, that should be it for this project, but I think I'm going to keep streaming. Probably going to switch over to a game. Not sure which one, though. Any of you guys have any suggestions? Probably not a online game, just because my Wi-Fi is not exactly the strongest. Or strongest, I guess. Fastest. But if any of you have any games, I have Minecraft, or I also have The Witcher 3 I've been playing through. But I could start a new Minecraft world too. So switch over to this and just close all the projects and stuff. You know what? I'm just gonna do Minecraft because it's fun and it's pretty easy to get into. So change the category to the stream. Get that going. My crap. I went down for a little bit. I don't know. Should be. Okay. I don't know how well my Wi-Fi is acting up. Don't know how well you guys can actually hear me. I'm kind of scared to try and open my stream up in case it. Okay, seems to be not too terrible. Hopefully you guys can understand me. But my Wi-Fi is dying. So I'm gonna try and keep streaming, and who knows? At the very least, we'll have a recording up of it. I'll have a recording up of the VOD. So hopefully this it isn't all a laggy mess, even though I bet it will be. So let me just go and change the title of the thing. Try that again. Wouldn't let me before. It was lagging out too much. There we go. There we go. Okay. Let's see if we can actually get this going. Honestly, I have no idea how laggy the stream is. It could be absolute potato quality, and I don't want to try it. I tried opening the stream up and it just started lagging more, so I don't know how. I can't judge it very well off of that. But I'm gonna play modded Minecraft right now, just because I prefer modded over vanilla. And I think I'm gonna do a one called Medieval Minecraft. It's has some like magic like systems in it, and I think it'll be kind of interesting. Yeah. We'll just hopefully I'll be getting this weekend. I'm getting a new mic, so the audio quality hopefully will be a little bit better. And I'm gonna try and run some Ethernet because right now my PC is connected using wireless, which with my already crappy internet is just not working too well. So hopefully we'll be getting something up. I'll have something so that I'll be able to stream a little bit better and more regularly rather than waiting until no one else is home so that I'm draining the bandwidth all by myself. Okay. It's going to take a little bit because the launcher, oh, there we go. Got this all going. And actually, I believe this is the one that if you watch right here, you can see the magic of a kind of broken loading bar. If it does like what it normally does, it may take a little bit. I don't know if it doesn't seem like it's going to do it, but normally it anyone who is on in the COD Discord might have seen the video I put up of this bar just extending out to infinity. But yeah, so how are you guys doing? Anyone doing anything interesting? That I assume anyone watching this is not doing anything interesting. Anyone got anything planned over the weekend or anything interesting? I personally am. We're closing up our camp this weekend. It's the last weekend of the season, so we're closing up our seasonal, and we're just gonna be packing up and leaving. I'm gonna be heading over there tomorrow, so should be a fun last weekend of the season. Honestly, I actually should probably hook up music, but I don't have any set up right now, and I don't really want to go through the hassle of trying to find some copyright-free music. Oh, there it is. As you can see here, the wild loading bar just likes to be free and not be constrained by its own limits, such as the correct number, or, as you'll see in a few moments, the actual loading bar limits. But yeah, honestly, I think Minecraft's probably one of my favorite games, just because there's so much versatility and like the community's always like the community's huge and there's so many different people you can like meet with them, and it's just something that you can always find people that like it, and like you can find mods for literally anything, and if there's not a mod for it, you could probably find someone who will make a mod for it as long as the idea is good enough. So yeah, honestly, I think I prefer the like magic based mod systems more so than the uh, like tech based. I do play some tech ones, but I find the actual like grind and like building all the stuff can be very very tedious, and like you don't get stuff right, and then you have to Google stuff and look at all the wikis for everything, and it can get very confusing very quickly. So yeah, this is hopefully we'll start actually going. Ugh. Honestly, I think the hardest part about all this is like streaming in general. It just it's just my throat getting sore from talking for hours on end. Honestly, actually, I think I may end the stream soon, just because I'm getting very tired, and I think 2 hours is, or around 2 hours, is a pretty good first stream. And also, this does not seem to want to load. Let me just do something real quick. See if there's something wrong here. Oh, there we go. Seems to be working now. I'll play for a little bit and then see how it's going, and we'll see. I'll stream for a little bit longer, I guess. Because why not? Honestly, I really want to collab with some people, but I don't. Any like multiplayer games, I don't know if my Wi-Fi would be able to handle it, so it may be kind of limited. Or at least any multiplayer games that we did play would have to be like very specific, as it seems like some games I have pretty good connection, and in others I have almost nothing, even if they both say North America apparently. or even the ones that say like East Coast servers, they're still like, oh no, it's still terrible. See if it actually loads. It still hasn't popped up yet. Oh yeah, also I mentioned this at the beginning of stream, I believe, but I don't know how many people are here who missed it. But if you hear a fan in the background, I can't really not have a fan going on, otherwise I will die of heat stroke. I have, not actually, but you know, I have had it before where I tried to not have the fan on, and even if I'm only like recording something for like half an hour, I am overheating so badly. Oh, there we go. It is. Oh, come on, there we go. Just gotta wait for the actual thing to load now. And there. Cool. I have a couple. You can see where I got because this has like this mod pack has gravestones, and there's also some pretty powerful bosses in this. When you accidentally are going caving, and then you get like exploring a cave, and then you find a boss that you didn't realize was super powerful, and then you just get spawn camped, or not spawn camped. It's just you can't get your stuff back, and it's annoying. And I just got so annoyed that I decided to try again versus redoing everything over and over, redoing everything I already did. So let's do this one. What do you guys think I should call it? I don't know how well you guys can hear me with my Wi-Fi being super crappy, but if anyone has a suggestion for a name, go to world options, switch this off, default, good, doesn't have binds aplenty. Let's see, data packs, okay, and you know, I'll just call this one for stream world. Why not? Cool. And should be all good to go. This mod pack has the like the races, like the species mod thing. It's like you start you pick like a thing at the beginning, and like it gives you certain abilities and stuff. I personally actually always like the evoker or witch things, just because the downsides weren't that much besides not being able to trade with villagers. Though I think I might choose something different, just because. I'm tempted to choose random, just to see, but I know some of these are like really hard to like try and work with. But you know what? Let's just throw caution to the wind. Let's try it. See what we get. It crashed. Apparently, I have too many things running right now to play a complex mod pack. you know, maybe that's a sign to that I should stop streaming. But I am not a quitter. So instead of Minecraft, we're gonna play Risk of Rain 2. Because maybe that'll work better. It may also still crash. And it may crash my stream. But hopefully, if it does crash, it'll just crash itself. And also, in case anyone hears me playing, yes, I play Risk of Rain on controller. I play most games on a controller because I just prefer controller for. I mean, anything really first part shooters or of any kind. Really, I prefer controller. I just have better aim, or I'm more used to aim, and Risk of Rain needs an update, of course. Okay, then. I said I wasn't a quitter, but it seems like everything is kind of not wanting to work out. So, yeah, this is probably going to be it for this stream. I think an hour stream is probably or 2 hour stream is probably a good start. So, yeah. I'm probably going to be, like I said, I'm probably just going to end it here. Hope you guys had a good time, and hopefully people are interested in or hopefully go to my channel and hope these. I am so scatterbrained right now. Hope you subscribe to this channel. Hit the, I think Twitch has a bell, right? Yeah, hit the bell. Get notification when I stream again. Hopefully next time I do, it'll be a little bit better quality, but who knows? Go to my YouTube channel. It's in the chat if you're looking for it. Yeah, I'll post it again because here, just so that anyone who came a little bit later might not have it. Yeah, go check out my channel. I only have one video up right now. That was a little while ago. That was another tutorial, a UE5 tutorial. So I should have. Hopefully, I'll have this one another video up on what I did today, the full VOD and an edited version, for hopefully make it easier. Hopefully, I'll have that up by the end of this weekend. Or, I mean, by Monday, I guess. That's a better way to say that. So yeah, hopefully it'll be up by Monday, and at least the VOD will absolutely be up by Monday. The edited video will hopefully be up by Monday, and yeah. So I hope, and go subscribe and hit the bell if you like it. If you want to see more of this type of content, and yeah, it's an awesome first stream. Really enjoyed it. Definitely will be doing this in the future. Thank you guys, and I'll be seeing you guys later.